Hey guys, my name is Dr. Sharnael, Wolverton-Sehon. I'm with Swiftfire International. I wanted to piggyback on what I was talking about yesterday. For those of you who watched my video yesterday about the power of words, frequency, and images. If you did not watch it, definitely go back because I think there are some keys in there for some of you. And in that video, I mentioned a quote by Robert Tennyson Stevens, and that quote is, a blessing not received is considered a burden, or a gift not received is considered a curse or a burden. And I kind of tippy-toed into it, hey guys, on some of that, and it got me thinking, and I even said in the video, like, I should make a whole video just on this because I want to go into the science of that. I choose to remember the first time that I heard Bob say that, but he basically, again, let me say it, a blessing that is not received is considered a burden. A gift or a blessing that is not received or perceived is considered a burden or a curse. And I'm kind of playing around with the different ways that he has said it before, and I even contacted him right before the video to make sure that I was saying it. I'm going to add my spin of, because a blessing or a gift that's not received, it's because it's not perceived yet as a gift. And I'll give you some examples, and then I'm going to go into the science of this, of why. And when I talked to him, he reframed it a little bit and said, any burden is a blessing waiting to be acknowledged. He said that's his final. Any burden is already a blessing just waiting to be acknowledged. It's already delivered. So let me give you a little bit of a connection or an anchor to that, just so I can help you guys facilitate, because I really believe that there's some of you who are in this space right now where something maybe looking different than how you perceived or how you had hoped things to work out, but it doesn't make it anything less than a gift and a burden. A gift and a blessing, not a burden. When I went through my health crisis, most people could look at that and say, oh my God, that's terrible. I can't believe that happened to you. Or I could have even went into fear mode and saw it as a burden. And I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't 100% seeing it as a burden at the time, because it did feel heavy. It felt scary. I felt scared, I should say. I felt scared. And yet, looking back, and even in the journey of it all, the people that I met, the understanding of what I got out of it, the knowledge that I got out of it, the authority that I got out of it, it's easy to look back during that time and say, wow, I learned a lot, and now I can help a lot of people. I have an authority in this, and I can really help a lot of people. What a blessing it was to be able to walk that out. In the video that I talked about yesterday, I was actually referring to being in Ecuador and having to be in the hospital for almost a month to stay on the planet. And how at that time, I did not perceive it as a blessing. At the time, again, I had a lot of fear. I was being told that I wouldn't be on the planet, which is never fun or happy news when you have children and you want to be home and whatever, you want to live your life. And yet also when it's those moments when things are seemingly scary, that it gives us that opportunity to wake up and to make some changes, to make some big changes for ourselves and for our family. And so that's one example. Another example is, I've kind of been out of the religious communities for quite a while, and felt called to kind of step back a little bit. And I had been in full-time ministry. I'm still in full-time ministry, but I had been in full-time ministry in a different way, and now it's more of a redefined audience, a redefined awakening, a redefined me in this space that I'm in right now. And for years and years and years, I was very caught up in the programs and caught up in the organized religion. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when I began to wake up and start seeing, what the real scriptures are saying, what the Hebrew, the Greek is, some of the programs that are within the church, there was a little bit of like, oh my gosh, not only did I believe that, but I taught it, and how much lost time was there, and how much, there was a lot of emotions involved. There was like a little bit of anger because I'm like, I can't believe that anyone taught me this. I can't believe I believed it. And then there was also that sad, just like losing time and things like that. So now I can look back and go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I actually was in that, because I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. It's a part of my story. It's a part of me. And it probably most likely saved me from being like a drug dealer or something, or just completely making really bad choices with my life. Because if religion did anything for me, it kept me pure as far as my physical body and who I chose, like my life choices as far as that. And also, most of it was fear-based, because I was so afraid to do anything wrong, for fear of going to hell, or having other people assume that of me or whatever. But thank God, I can look back and say, thank God that I had organized religion at that moment, because it kept me in some way from making other choices. Now, again, it was all fear-based, but for me, I'm not saying for everybody, but for me, it was fear-based, and not wanting to be wrong and wanting to be perfect and wanting to, do whatever, but it still kept me. So now I could look back and go, that was a gift. It's not where I am, but I don't judge anybody who's there. I love everybody's journey, and I love where everybody is going and what they're doing and the choices they're making, and I can be an observer and appreciate my life and where that journey got me to. And you know what? I'll probably look back a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now, 3 weeks from now, maybe even tomorrow, and go, oh my God, what was I thinking doing this video? Like, because there's such an escalation right now of a wake-up time. And so if we can look at every single thing that we're going through right now, like even the tornadoes that came and tornadoed our house a few weeks ago, we can all look at everything where we're at, and we can see it as a burden, or we can see it as an awesome opportunity to wake up, to make new choices, to meet some great people along the way, to interact with people maybe that we wouldn't have any other way, and to look for the gift in everything, just to completely be expecting gifts and miracles in every moment of every day with everything that we're doing, whether it's traffic or a delay in whatever you're doing, a seemingly perceived delay in whatever, whether it's, anything less than love that's happening. If we can look at all of those things as gifts and have the perception that it's gifts, then we're going to have a lot better outcome than the opposite. Now, let's look at the science of that for a second, because, again, I'm going to say it, a gift not received as a gift will always be a burden. A gift or a blessing that is not acknowledged or received as a gift is a burden. Let's look at the science of that. Why would it end up being a burden? Why would it end up being a curse? On a science level, if something is going on with us, whatever it is, and we perceive it as less than love, or we perceive it as not a gift, and we do perceive it as a burden, then what happens is on a brain scan level, because we do have brain waves and we have heart waves, if we're thinking about this situation not being a gift, and we're thinking of it as a curse and not a blessing, then we start connecting brain waves and heart waves with coming into agreement of it being a curse, or it not being a blessing, or everything happens to me, or why is this happening, or la 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 la, and we can go down that black hole of negativity, of negative patterns and negative thinking, that guess what happens? All that we think about and all that we feel, especially with feeling, because the heart waves are the biggest generator. The brain waves have pretty good waves, but this is like 60,000 times more than the brain. So when those waves go out, that goes into your biofield, into my biofield, and whatever the biofield contains, it radiates out, but it also magnetizes, because we're giant magnets. And so whatever we're putting out as a signal, we're also receiving back to us. So if our mindset is this is a burden, or this is not a gift, or this is a curse, and that's where we stay, and our feelings are behind that, then that signal goes out, and we become like a beacon and a target of victimization. There's like victim energy, which I have a whole video on that. And then guess what? We collect more opportunities for further negativity, further patterns in that vein, and we just continue the process. And that's why when people have the mindset, like, why does this always happen to me? It's like, well, how long you want to do that? Because if you have the mindset that everything happens to you bad, then guess what? You will continue that with a signal, like a giant amplified signal of all of your body coming into agreement with that, all of your cells coming into agreement with that, sending out that signal into your biofield and then magnetizing back. The opposite of what we can do is have the perception that, like what it says in Romans, it says, all things work according to those who love him, and Bob Stevens would say, and I love him, and always end with, and I love him. Everything that happens is for the good of us, that miracles follow us everywhere, that everything amazing happens to me, that I attract miracles everywhere I go, that God is the only power and presence acting to me, through me, in me, and around me now, that only God touches me, that only God hears me, only God sees me, that I ignite the Christ in everyone who contacts me, that God is the only power and presence acting here now, because everywhere I go, I ignite Christ. Everywhere I go, I ignite miracles. Everywhere I go, miracles chase me down. And if we can remember that God is in us and is the kingdom of God, and that only God touches me because God is in us, and we activate the Elohim cells within us, the DNA within us, then we can create that biofield of Elohim, which is all the names of God, which is everything that God is, which is all of source code. And when source code goes out, it radiates out. And guess what? We only get a match. Whatever we focus on, we make room for. Whatever we send out energetically, we also collect back into our lives. And so we have the opportunity every day to have the perception and the filter of God and love, and everything awesome happens to us everywhere we go. Or we can have the perception like, crap, this is a burden. Your choice. I promise you there's always things working out for you. Everything works out for you. Everything works out for you. Just say that out loud. Everything works out for me. Because everything works out for you. Because God is in you. And whether you're awake to God or not, or even believe in God, God believes in you and God is in you. And the more room we give for him, her, it, God, source, the more room you give for your own miracles and your own amazing positive outcomes. We get to create our world, where our reality, what's real to us. And when we can acknowledge that everything is for us, even rainy days, even the dark. Like, think about the dark. I've been thinking about the dark a lot, especially because Joe Dispenza has these meditations where he's like, become aware of the dark. Become aware of space. And I was like, oh my God, is he really asking us to focus on the dark? Well, shouldn't we be focusing on the light? And I got all like, not judgy, but confused for a little bit. I'm choosing clarity. And I just kept saying, what is the benefits of dark? There's got to be benefits of dark if he's asking us to focus on the dark. And guess what? Think about it. God created light when he created the earth. When the earth was here, he created light, and he also had time for dark. If God wanted the whole 24 hours to be light, then he would have just made the whole thing light, and we would never have dark. But yet he allowed dark. Why did he allow dark? Why, when we close our eyes, did God choose it to be dark when we close our eyes? Why didn't he choose rainbow monkeys to be the background of our eyelids? He chose dark. So it gave me this whole like, okay, what is it about the dark that gives us a science benefit? And when we are in dark, there are so many things that happen on a science level. Our immunity picks up. We got melatonin and different things, HGH, which is the human growth hormone, which, helps us to recalibrate and heal ourselves. There's so many things that happen in the dark, which is why it's super good for us to go to sleep, especially between 10 and 12 o'clock, because if you could be sleeping between 10 and 12, that's when the HGH levels are the highest. Most of us are not, me, but 10 to 12 p.m. is when your HGH can be the most. And being in the dark, that means not having the TV on. That means not having a night light on. That means not having your computer or your phone up until blue light, whatever. So, but yes, there's benefits to the dark. So how do we apply that to our everyday living? There are benefits to us going through what we go through in life too. It makes us stronger. It helps us to remember. It helps us to acknowledge that we have good days too, and how great those great days are. And there's a law of polarity. If you guys look at that, like when we have quote bad things, if we perceive them as bad things, and guess what? We get the outcome of more bad things. And if we can remember that God's in us and he's completely moving through us, living through us, and that great things always happen to us, and God is the only power and presence acting here, and that all good things happen according to those who love him, and I love him, then we get to expect that there's somehow something good stuff in the middle of it. And so I'm just going to encourage you today. Encourage, meaning bring courage to you today. I speak courage into your realm, into your biofield. I speak God's presence and love into your biofield. I awaken you and speak to you and all of these things right now as you activate this new thought process. And I could see that this is helping people already, actually. And so I'm seeing the light bulbs come on. I'm seeing the light. And I'm seeing the remembrance as we all look around and see and perceive truth and light and love and everything that's happening. This is your opportunity. This is your wake up. This is our awakening. This is our time to see and perceive. Not just see, but to perceive. There's a difference in those two things. And I have videos on that too. Let's perceive truth and light together. And let's remember, meaning to member again, to and to member as in one, be one with God in union. And let's remind, meaning be mindful of God and the mind of Christ, to be full of God and the mind and to remember. And let's do some remarkable, literally, and magical and miraculous things today, because that is your inheritance. That is my inheritance. Greater things than these. So do me a favor and tag and share with somebody who has the perception that they're going through a bad time right now, because they're not. This is the best time to be alive. This is the best time, and no matter what situation we're in, this is our time. Make it your time. You create that. God and you as co-creator and author and creator of all of you. It's your choice. You get that power. Take your power back. Take your authority back and remember who you are. You are freaking amazing. You are light. You are love. You are powerful. You are mindful of Christ. And you can do greater things than these right now. In whatever situation you're in, you get to create that. So go do it. And then tag people that you know really require this remembrance right now. And really, really require this wake up to see everything as a blessing. to see everything as a gift, to perceive everything as a gift, to perceive everything as a beautiful package of love. And it's already there. All right? I will talk to you soon, and I do hope to hear from you and where you're at, how I can pray for you, how I can send you good vibes. I'm sending all of you good vibes and love right now as you are waking up. We're all waking up. And isn't it fun and so easy? All right. Love you. Bye.